love you.
Like the podcaster's room, I think.
God, you were brilliant.
Couple steps ahead. Tony's just not looking.
All right.
Tony's playing 3D chess. You're playing 5D.
Ooh, my mommy. Okay, ready? We're going live. 3, 2, 1. Theme song.
Oh yeah, dude, this is awesome.
All right, and fade.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is awesome.
This is the longest, and I love it.
That's what I mean. You have to have a fade somewhere in here.
It's over. All right. You are listening. You are listening to episode 73 of the Paper Player Podcast. I'm your host Tony, and I'm joined here with Josh and JB. Jeff is gone. We'll get into that a little bit later, and we'll have a special guest coming on later to talk Legacy with us. One of the more seasoned Legacy players that I know, named Ali. He's a previous person that's been on the cast. But guys, yeah, yeah. This is what our things are: secret layers, super drops, and online versus paper. And boom.
Wait.
Go on.
There's new secret layers?
Oh, dude,
what?
There's been more and more and more.
What? I didn't think they were doing that many. I thought they were kind of pulling back or something.
Okay, JB.
No way. There's still going to be more in December. You know there is. And November. We have to get to the November yet. There's like Dominaria or Brothers War hasn't came out yet, and there'll be a Brothers War super drop where they'll have like more basics that you can get and all that.
No. What they're going to do is they're going to make more old bordered artifacts that aren't in the old bordered artifacts that come in the packs.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we haven't gotten to all the astrology signs yet.
There's still 2 more left that are out there, but
Scorpio's coming. Or wait, did Scorpio already happen?
All right, so before we'll just glance over the show notes. So there's a ton of stuff to talk about. We'll talk about the Fight Night recap and how I was cheated. Jeff is flying out to Vegas. Our casually casted card. Too much product. We've said this for the 20th time. The Master Blaster of Chandra, whatever. The October Super Drop, Secret Layers and more Secret Layers, Jumpstart 22, Oracle Changes, Open Deck List for the RC or the Regional Championships, Legacy on MTGO and versus Real Life, Eternal Weekend, which was announced this last week or whatever, and then Maro's blog nonsense and teaser, and then we'll take callers and or after show. But before we get into all that, Josh, you play any Magic?
I played a lot of Magic this since the last podcast.
Sick.
I had Alex come into town, the guy we had brought on, my old coworker, and we played EDH, and then we were just playing heads up EDH because like that's all we could get together for on a Sunday, like kind of last minute.
Yeah.
And so I was playing Perforos, and he was playing. I don't even remember. Or no, he was playing Elminster from the D&D stuff.
Yeah, the wizard that has like a passive that does something.
Busted, I don't even remember, but nonetheless, like I had him down to like 10 life or something, like really low.
Yeah.
And then he plays this Infinity card, Exchange of Words, which switches the text off of my Perforos and onto his Thassa. So I got Thassa's ability, which doesn't help me at all. And then I'm in mono red and have absolutely zero way to deal with it besides like, well, I guess now that I talked with you guys, I have Pyroblast.
That actually doesn't deal with it.
Yeah, because it
deals with the exchange of
destroys.
words. It deals with the exchange of words.
Oh, yeah.
Pyroblast, REB, and Chaos Warp is the card I thought I had to hit. But
I mean, I will give it to him that he changed one god's ability with another, which is pretty cool. Like,
yeah,
if he's gonna change it,
absolute blowout. It was
That's
absolute blowout because like my deck is just like put a bunch of 1/1s out to the battlefield. Right?
Aren't all the gods indestructible too? So like even like destroy so damage.
You can't. It's so hard. So yeah, Red Elemental Blast doesn't even do anything.
No, it's got to get specifically the exchange of words.
Oh wait, I can hit the exchange of words, so then it does work.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, and then I went and played with the boys on Monday and did a Migawa
Neon Dynasty
draft. Yeah, and I went like pack one. I hit the 3 2/2s Imperial orders.
Yeah.
Like first pick, and then
Imperial Oath, I think it's called. We get
yeah,
3
Imperial
2/2s.
Oath.
Yeah.
So like I went into green white right away, and then like the second pack I opened the Emperor,
Oh, nice.
That's pretty
right,
sick.
and then third pack I also got another Imperial Orders. Yeah,
What?
2 of those, right? But
Yeah.
I
Please
played
don't tell me you lost.
I did. I went round 1. I played the mirror, and we went to game 3, and like it came down to like 1 combat,
Yeah.
but he got me. And then game 2, I played a blue deck, and I kind of just ran over that deck.
Yeah.
And then game 3, I played against Charlie, who had double spinning wheel kick.
So that card is, I love that card in that format because it's such like the biggest blowout in the sense of sometimes you play that card and you blow your opponent out, and then sometimes you play that card and they literally kill the creature or they just play a spell pierce because you dump it.
What does it do?
It's green XX target creature deals its power to X creatures. So if you pay green, if you pay 4 mana, it deals it to 1 creature. If you pay 6 mana, it's 2 creatures. 8 mana is 3 creatures. So usually in that format, it kind of goes long. If you have like a 4/4, you pay 8 mana. That 4/4 deals
Blow
damage.
up a bunch of their guys.
Yeah, and then you can blow them up. But just like usually people always dump all their mana into it. So Spell Pierce was really awesome in that format. You just go Spell Pierce and then you go crap.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you time walk them.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. As far as Magic goes, I think all I did from like a physical standpoint, we had the Fight Night, which I came in second with Tyranids. Jeff came in first with Necrons. Was it Josh? Were you the first one eliminated, or was JB? I don't remember.
No, I got a kill. I killed
holding up
Josh.
Yeah, you
the
could call it collusion.
sign because I was colluded out of that game.
we could draw in. You could say it from a data standpoint. The guy that won turn 1 Soul Ring won. So surprise, surprise.
So, like,
You
I said that right away. I was like, you got to kill that guy.
Yeah.
Is that all EDH is? Is you just get mad because you get killed first and
Not get
that's
mad this
it?
time.
Everyone
No,
just gets mad.
Teasing.
With casual EDH, like Soul Ring is so degenerate. In like CDH, it's medium because everybody's doing the same thing. Whereas like the guy who gets to go turn 4 or turn 2 their commander is like, oh my god, and nobody's even like, I'm like tap land go.
Right.
Yeah. So and then other than that, I just been jamming that mono blue standard deck. That thing is like so much fun to play, and then like what it costs in real life is under $40.
Playing on the phone?
Yeah, of course. Like I just me and the baby. Go,
Yeah.
This is how you play cards. Okay. No.
How's that going?
She's medium at it.
No, I meant how is playing on the phone?
That's fine. It's perfect. That client is designed great for draft, and it's great for standard. All other formats like the Brawl and all that, it's just too cluttered and messy because whatever. And Alchemy is obviously one of the worst formats it's ever.
You tell me you would play cat combo on your phone? That sounds terrible.
It probably would. It actually would be easier on Arena than it would on Magic Online, because Magic Online you have to manually do all the clicks, whereas Arena goes, like, what do you want to target? Click, and then it'll just like go through the motions. Like, what do you want to target? You just keep tapping the same card. Versus like Magic Online, we have to do 1,000 clicks. So yeah. But JB, you couldn't pull out the 3P, couldn't win 3 in a row. Shame. And then JB, you can name Magicin.
Yeah, I went and played Legacy.
Yep.
I put in 2 Miras because I wanted to see it as much as possible. And
you have 10
boy,
attractions?
oh boy, that card either made people laugh a bunch and get really excited to have to play me, or made people really mad.
That's very controversial.
One of my opponents, he had a bad, he got mana screwed in the first game or whatever, but he was very much not interested in talking to me after the round, which was pretty great. I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, oh, yeah, you want to check out what all these goofy things are? And he's like, no.
Yeah. He's like,
okay.
You want to talk about Magic purists? Jeez.
And then I was like, hey, you want to play another round of something? And he's like, no. All right, well, I guess we're done here.
Yeah, see ya.
Nah.
So, I got stomped. It was very bad. Mira is fun. I got to put 3 I think the biggest I had was 3 attractions, and I triggered Ponder twice. So I got 2 free Ponders out of it. and that was pretty good. Because
That's pretty
Mira like attaches one of your sorcerers or instants to your attractions,
Yeah.
and then when you roll it, you get to cast it for free.
Oh, dude. I mean, that's pretty sweet. Did you have
Yeah,
any other
it's
dice
fun.
rolling mechanics in there?
No, I didn't. I didn't do anything else too crazy. I mean, I was debating on putting in 1 or 2 of the 2-mana spell that lets you choose 2 of 4, and it's like get tickets, open an attraction,
Sure.
get a sticker, or do something else that I can't remember that has to do with those mechanics.
Sure.
But it might have been like roll for your attractions or something, but I opted not to just because it'd be taking out all the good cards for bad cards. So
Oh, sure.
I at least wanted to keep like something in there that was good.
Yeah. All right.
But I had fun.
I don't think there's any intention on bringing stickers and or attractions to Magic Online, so that will just be a sub. That'll be just something that's different in person. And I'd love to see something in Eternal Weekend to top 8 with stickers or attractions. That's really what I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping to.
Yeah. All right. If you guys are wondering where Jeff is, Jeff is flying out to Vegas. Him and Lesser Tony are going. So they're gonna be Lesser Tony. He's Bizarro Tony. He's the uglier, worse version of me.
Dang! Wow, rude.
Yeah,
agree.
Yeah, they're heading out to Vegas. They're gonna be our eyes on the ground. They're gonna be doing live things. I don't know if they're gonna be doing interviews. I doubt they're gonna be, because the cameras that Jeff wanted are right here. He didn't take them.
Yeah, that won't work very well.
So he didn't take them.
Oof.
Oh, whatever. It's okay. It's who wants to go around asking people stuff. But
yeah, especially if you spend all that money to get into it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So segments. Boom, boom, boom. Casually casted card of the week. I know we brought this up a couple weeks ago.
I know what it is. It's Temple Bell.
No, it's Liliana of the Dark Realms. Every EDH wants to. Low-powered EDH wants to have this, in the sense of like, it's my 3-color deck, and this can grab a Triome. So,
that new art from the Secret Lair is pretty cool.
Ramp.
I like it.
This is a card. I have a buddy who would say it's ramp, but it's not ramp.
It doesn't put anything into play. But yeah. Jeff said he's gonna record stuff in the chat. Yeah, right. A likely story, Chaka. Yeah. So this is one of those cards that is just expensive because I think it draws so many people that go, every turn I get to put a land in my hand. As far as it's actually being good, this emblem's awesome. Once you get to like pop off with it, you get a whole bunch of mana. But the other abilities are just like, I think it would be better if it started with 4 loyalty versus 3, because sometimes you just have to play it and then minus it and lose your Planeswalker, which is kind of a medium ability.
Card doesn't do anything.
No. It's the that fallacy of it's thinning my deck every turn, which technically true, but the percentages are so low.
Yeah, especially in a 99 card format, please.
Well, if you get 5 turns and then you get to take 5 swamps out of your deck, wow, you really did it.
And then all those swamps tap for 4.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah. Wow. If this lives 3 turns, 4 turns.
Well, it's so easy to attack, right? Like, this is, I mean, the reason why it's casual, it's because it's probably one of the best cards in casual, because in casual nobody attacks each other because everybody's too nice. So yeah, you get to always hit your land drop. But yeah, casually cast card of the week, Liliana of the Dark Realms. If you have them, they're like $13, I think, roughly. All right, dude.
Since we're talking about EDH a little bit, I got a question.
Yeah.
Will people get mad at me if I play Collector Oof?
Why?
You can play it. It's people play removal. It's fine.
Okay.
Like, Collector Oof is great, and it's.
Because I was like, either I'm going to play Collector Oof or I'm going to play the 0-cost mana rocks.
Yeah.
One or the other.
All right, dudes. So,
I think I play Oof.
I mentioned, do you even buy Magic, bro? So they showed a diagram or a chart of 30 years of Magic products. So I'm going to move our faces just for a moment. So if you look at this, the first year, obviously 93, it's got 4 sets coming out, plus like there's 3 products, so Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and then Arabian Nights all came out. And then there's I'm not sure what this gold border set is. I don't know if it's collector's
It might
edition
be the collectors, yeah.
or international. One of those.
Well,
two.
both. Because they both came out at the same time.
Well, the reserve list didn't happen until, what was it? Chronicles. Whenever Chronicles comes out. So I guess it happened in 95. But if you look at this, like we have like a pretty obvious trend where it's like 4 or 5 sets a year. You know, nothing too crazy. It kind of bumps up.
Reserve list didn't come out until Urza Saga.
Yeah, that's when they did. Well, the reserve list
added more cards.
Yeah, the reserve list was a response to Chronicles because everybody was like, "Dude, what the hell?" And stores got stuck with Chronicles on their shelves, and they couldn't get rid of it because everything, you know, was like you would buy the booster stuff, and then like you couldn't even get rid of the product for 50 cents. That's how bad Chronicles was. There was nothing in it. But if we look at the trend of just like from 93 to about 2010 is when they start to like go off. So we hit like World Wake years or Zendikar years, and they have dual decks and premium like series, right? Those things are like small products, but they're nothing that like does anything to the market. They're things that people enjoyed. And then we start hitting the Commander years, which you got 2013, which started adding more products. Then they removed like the dual decks, and then the Secret Layer years or what have you. So 2018 is the year of the fire design. That's when I think that was introduced. That's when Oko and all that stuff came out. And then 2019.
Would you, if you made this list, count what were they called? They were like champion decks or whatever. Because I remember picking up when Kamigawa was around. I remember picking up champion decks or like tournament decks or something.
Yeah, Gold Border.
No. It was like they were like these individually packed decks, and they had a couple of like select cards that were in all of them or something.
Okay, so
and then
are you talking about like the decks that came out, the theme decks that came out for Champions of Kamigawa?
No.
Yeah, because I think you are, because one had like an Umezawa's Jitte in it.
Oh yeah, maybe I am then.
Yeah, those are just theme boost. Those were just your intro decks. They just happen to have one of them happen to have Umezawa's Jitte in it, and
I didn't know if you counted that as like a separate thing or not.
It comes on the launch day of like
the other stuff, and it's part of the set, so it's not like it's individual cards or anything.
Correct, and it's not like booster packs or anything like that. It's not. It's you can either get it from a booster pack or you can go buy an intro deck and have somewhat of like a functional deck. But yeah, so year 1 of Secret Layers we have 7, year 2 26, year 3 46, and then obviously this year we have all of these sets. Okay, they include Alchemy on here, which is kind of like cheating. So I wouldn't. It's got a couple. Like it's got 4 Alchemy sets. I'm not gonna.
Is that what H plus is?
No, Alchemy is like A-22. It's whatever this thing is. But
what is H plus?
Strixhaven. I don't know what H plus is, honestly. That's
don't even have an idea.
That's how much stuff is going on here.
So those look like the Hasbro cards, maybe.
Oh, the Pulse sales or whatever.
Oh, sure. Okay, maybe. Because this year there's a total of 46 Secret Layers. Maybe I'll have to look at what H plus is. H plus is a digital release, so that doesn't really play. But
yeah, this is a paper player podcast.
Yeah, we don't look at that. That's why all the reds don't really count. But even if you just like eliminate all the reds, like the amount of product, plus there's 48 Secret Layers and counting.
Wow, we beat last year already.
Yeah.
I guess I don't care that much about Secret Layers because it's not random packs that you're getting.
Yeah.
You're getting what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like versus some of these other sets where it's like when I open a pack, I'm gonna get a cool alt art Wanderer or I'm gonna get hot garbage.
Yep.
So that's a little bit different to me. Like I don't mind the Secret Layers being so heavy because I guess I don't know. I buy singles most of the time anyways, so that's my preferred way to get stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I get to meme on them now, so I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, so as far as Secret Layers go, when they first came out, the only time that it ever upset me is when we had what's it called, the Walking Dead one, because that was like, oh crap, like if these are exclusive, if you don't buy these, you might end up, and when these end up being good, you're gonna miss the boat. Thankfully, none of them actually were good, so that was nice.
Well, didn't that happen with the all the other things too? The
Stranger Things,
not Walking Dead, Stranger Things.
Well, Stranger Things they have magic versions of them that you can open in a pack.
So
they have a 1-to-1 magic version of them with renamed. It's actually their official name now, so versus what the other name was. So That one, no harm, no foul, because it was exclusive for a moment, and then you can get them literally the following booster set as a Magic version of them. So that doesn't feel bad. But, yeah, I can't believe the amount of product that's coming up. And it also, they came out with their Q3, and they're down like 46% from last year. And
what do you
so
mean?
it's like the same amount
money-wise?
of money being spread, but they keep pushing out product. So rather than like buying boosters now, people are buying secret layers and stuff.
Yep, but they're losing
And
money because they got to pay royalties.
I was about to say, it also costs more production to put all these things out. So if people are not buying as many normal packs as they were last year, and they're spending their money on something else, then it just shows that players only have a finite amount of money to spend, and you kind of already hit your cap.
Yeah, so they
People are buying groceries, dude. It's expensive to live right now.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
If you're talking about like hobby budgets or whatever, it's like you have obviously hit something near what your cap of sales is for your product.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all played in 2010, right? So every time a set would release, I would buy one booster box no matter what, right? I'd always buy a booster box every single time. I never didn't buy a booster box. Now it's just like
I always buy a box.
And now I still buy like the main set boxes, but all this I used to also be like, all right, well the Commander's decks only come out once every 2 years because it was like 2011 and then 2013. And I was like, I'll buy all of them because it's a product. And now it's like there's a Commander set alongside or 2 Commander decks alongside every single release. Plus there's collector boosters. It's like, dude, it's insane. So I typically buy the booster just to open up with like my wife because it's fun to do. And then aside from that, like I just buy singles. That's usually where I'm at. And then for our fight nights, I'll buy some sealed product. But yeah, it's a different world where we live in. And
I like buying the Commander decks, and I like having all these precons around now.
Yeah. With that 40, I mean, you guys saw with those Amazon like Prime Days or whatever, they were selling like booster boxes of Crimson Revolve for $55. That's how much product is like that's like dying on the shelves of Amazon.
How do you feel about stores that suddenly get priced out because they paid way more than 55 and now no one's going to go to them because the price difference is so huge?
So
why would you shop locally?
I always buy my set boosters from my local game store. I don't, however, buy my collector boosters from there because the collector boosters are around in this area, $300 per there. Whereas if I buy them on Amazon pre-sale, it's $220. I'm gonna.
You know what I'm saying though is like they had that crazy sale and they said, "Hey, come look at all this cool stuff."
Yep.
For cheap.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you just buy like 2 boxes there and then be like, "Well, I guess I don't really feel the need to open packs at my local store"?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, as far as your local store, LGSs should really, especially now that the people are playing more in person now, they should really be trying to sell like, let's do drafts. That's the best way to get rid of your product, especially when it's in season. But
100%. Get more drafts firing.
You just got to fire your drafts. If you want your product to get out the door, that's the only way you're going to do it. Because, you have your release date, and then you end up with an abundance of stuff. And they just don't make sets like they used to, where, like World Wake, where you couldn't find a World Wake box to save your life, or you couldn't find a Zendikar box, or whatever. Even Scars and Mirrodin, when that came out, like, when we were getting towards Mirrodin Besieged, it was hard to find, like, Scars and Mirrodin boxes. Like, all that stuff's difficult to find, whereas, Amazon's got 1 billion boxes, so people are already buying from there, not shopping at their local game store. And then you have your standard sets that are like New Capenna, which has like these Triumphs in it, but everybody's buying the collector boosters that you can also get at Walmart too. So these draft boosters are just not being pushed. And also you have set boosters, so it's hard to move stuff.
My other thing with that is I think we talked about it a long, long time ago, like legit within the first couple like month of doing this podcast. But I remember talking specifically about products sitting on a shelf in a game store that isn't going to move. And like, what do you do as a game store when you realize that they could do these kind of drops at any time? You just stop carrying very much product. And that's a problem because then the random people who would come off the street and pick something up out of curiosity might not be doing that anymore because you just don't have the options available because it's too much of a risk to hold that product.
Well, let's look at, we can go into what Maro said. I was going to say that for the end of the cast, but there was a blog from Maro that pretty much said, hey, 75% of Magic players don't know what a Planeswalker is. And then he gave I can't buy that. And then it would be, what is the criteria for a Planeswalker? What is the criteria for a Magic player? And then like, how are you collecting this data? That's like my two things that I want to figure out. But
Hang on.
Go on.
Unless like they surveyed a bunch of moms.
I guess like my son plays Magic when he really plays Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, you know what I mean? But
Right.
aside from all that, like that statement of
who are they surveying? Can we get one person who's been surveyed by Wizards to come online?
And then also like when you buy an intro pack or a Planeswalker deck, like this insert in here that I have, it lays out like the types of cards. It tells you how to, like, it's like a quick how to play the game. And then it shows you, like, this one is for the Warhammer one. So it talks about Warhammer. But if you buy, like, the intro decks or not intro decks, but the intro commanders, it'll, like, list you the types of cards, enchantment, whatever, Planeswalker. And it'll actually give you what they are. And usually all the commander decks are suited with a Planeswalker. So, like, what is he talking about?
When we first started, Tony, and I opened a Johnny Goldmane, and I'm like, oh my god, what is this?
Yes.
And then I found out immediately, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, people are opening packs. It's not like they aren't.
Yeah, and it's just let's pretend that 75% of Magic players, or what do they call Magic players? I mean, I understand that they don't know who Maro is, because he did say that. I agree with that. I believe a lot of casual players don't know who creates the game. I would also believe that a majority of enfranchised Magic players don't know who Richard Garfield is. That all makes sense to me. But to not know what a Planeswalker is, come on, dude. What product did you buy? And then is that your only piece of product? And then like how did Wizards get a hold of you to give this survey information?
They said, have you played Magic one time? If yes, we will give you a bunch of money to take our survey.
Yeah.
More like $11.
If you've played more than once,
yep,
we will not take you.
We found 20 people, and of those 20 people, 15 of them said, I don't know what a Planeswalker is, after we had them open up a pack that didn't contain a Planeswalker.
Just seed it.
It's just nonsense. It was on his blog talk, and I saw that, I was like, dude, this is bullcrap. I'm not buying any of this. This is a non-answer. This isn't real. Yeah. All right, dudes. So a lot of information came out on Thursday. We always do the cast one day before the Thursday. Maybe we should move our thing to Thursday, but I like Wednesday.
Dude.
On Thursday, they dropped some announcements, which we're going to be going here. One of the ones I want to talk about is the real life Chandra's Gauntlet, and it's $300. You can buy it on Hasbro Pulse. It pre-orders on October 27th, which is tomorrow. You can purchase this thing, and it actually it comes with like fluid that you can put in here, and I don't know what it's shooting out, but I'm just gonna pretend it's flames.
It's not flames.
I don't care.
It's flames.
Sure.
I don't think it's shooting.
I mean, it's pretty sweet for cosplayers. Like, if you're into that, like,
pretty sure it's just
man.
like in like a smoke machine or like someone blowing their vape into it.
Yeah.
No. They show like in the trailer, they show somebody this like liquid that you see here that they're dumping it into there. I don't know what it is. I hope it's bubbles.
Dude, have you never seen a fog machine?
I don't care what they are.
Do you not know how they work?
Fog machines?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go
Dump a
outside.
liquid in them, and then it shoots out fog.
You have to go collect the fog the night before and put it into a bag.
Like mist.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to cosplay and you want an easy thing where you don't have to work to put together something on your own because you want it quick or whatever, I could see that being a really easy option to be like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's medium.
Can't you get like an Xbox for $300?
Yeah, whatever. I'd rather, if we're going to talk about comparisons for Magic stuff and pricing, let's just talk about the 30th anniversary stuff again. $1,000. I can get a whole hell of a lot with $1,000.
I'm just saying, $300 for a toy. Can't you get like an Xbox for that price?
No, this is a collectible. You don't understand. If you don't buy this now, you'll never be able to burn down your mom's house.
You ain't gonna be cosplaying with an Xbox.
Yeah.
Toy.
Plus, that's not even like good. This is not a toy. This is for cool. Look at how clenched that fist is.
That looks plastic, is what it looks like.
Yeah. If you are a giant, you probably won't be able to fit this. This is for normal sized people like me.
Like
me.
$3 is an outrage. Like $100, okay. or like 150 maybe, even $300 is outrage. There's
Yeah, it's
no
pretty
reason.
nuts. All right. We also had a billion secret layers come out. I know JB's excited about these two. The Junji Ito, which has Thoughtseize, Plaguecrafter, Carrion Feeder, and Doomsday, and you can actually get these in Japanese.
They did what I wanted for once. They did what I wanted, and they used a manga artist that I'm not a huge fan of because he does body horror, and I don't care about body horror stuff.
Sure. I mean, this looks. I mean, I will say out of these 4 cards, all of them look amazing. Like Plaguecrafter's
cool.
like is a
Just not
throwaway.
Never been my style. His work.
Yeah. No, you can put the Playcrafter in the cube. I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's sweet. And then Carrion Feeder's just like all these. The Carrion Feeder looks the coolest to me. But then they also did Yoji Shinkawa. That has
Metal Gear Man.
Yeah, this thing is super dope. You get a Metamorph, a Solemn, a Skull Clamp, and a Tezzeret. Well, 3 of those cards are bangers, and the Solemn you can just throw right in the trash.
No way, that goes in every ADH deck.
They don't even put it in the precons anymore. Like it's not even that good.
There's just too many that exist.
People want better mana rocks.
It's still old reliable, man.
I mean,
it is. I'm not going to tell you I won't play it.
This was Solemn was an EDH staple before before EDH became what it became homogenized. Before they started making EDH products, aside from the 1-2-year decks.
Commander products.
Yeah, Commander products. But yeah, art will look sick. And again, this also has the Japanese treatment. So if you want to get them in Japanese, these 3 cards are super dope. Like Tezzeret gets sees play in Vintage, Skull Clamps in literally everybody's cube, and Phyrexian Metamorph is an amazing card in EDH.
Wizards, you're almost there.
Yeah.
You know how much I would have been happier if you would have let me get those chibi versions in Japanese? I would have been so happy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this one's cool.
Yeah, Secret Layers, The Space Beyond the Stars, Prismatic Omen, Wheel of Sun and Moon, Stasis, which I think this is... You can't play that one in EDH,
First foil?
Yeah.
First foil?
Of Stasis. I didn't know that. And then Imprison in the Moon. So this Stasis is super cool. For those who play pre-modern, I'm sure this is going to be an awesome version to go grab. And then these other cards, Prismatic Omen used to be really sweet until Dryad of the Elysian Grove came out. This card used to be really
worth
sweet.
A lot still.
Yeah.
Wheel of Sun and Moon and Prismatic Omen are like $20 each, I think.
I don't think they have that many printings. I think Prismatic Omen has I think just 1, maybe 2 printings. Anyway,
but that's the thing is, if you were looking to get them,
yeah,
and you like the art, here's an easy way to get them for cheap.
Ba-boom. Next one is The Weirdest Pets in the Multiverse, which has Vizier of the Menagari, Beast Whisperer, Stitcher Supplier, Lab Maniac, and Wood Elves. This one feels a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
You're asking the wrong guy. I don't play green.
Next.
Yeah, this one's meh. Totally spaced out Galaxy foils. This one only
Now
comes out of foil.
If it didn't, well, I guess it has to because it's Galaxy foiling, but card choices in here, if you want that cool Galaxy look, pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean,
strip mine.
That's why you're buying for it. Yeah.
Right, $50 for a strip mine is pretty worth it.
Yeah, like a white border strip mine right now is like $15 to $25 depending on condition.
You can get an Italian one for like 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Condition, right?
You can speak your mother language.
This isn't a bad price for the strip mine.
No, I mean you get the strip mine. Ash Baron used to be somewhat expensive because it was kind of exclusive, but that gets heavily played in Pauper. Fabled Passage is a nice card to have that they probably will print to the end of time for standards. And then Command Beacon, which is meh. I don't really think too much of Command Beacon. All right, so then we had this year's Secret Layer Extra Life 2022. So they had this last year, and they had like Craterhoof Behemoth, Metalwork Colossus, and I forget what the other card was, but they did it again this year. All the profits, I should say, 50% of the profits are going to charity, and they shown the 3 cards, which they had I believe, children draw, and then they had artists do renditions of their drawing. So you get both. So this, if you pay $39.99, you get 2 Birds of Paradise, 2 Lathis Dragon Queen, and then 2 Sliver Legions, which these are sweet, dude. I love these.
Didn't I see a Tarmogoyf?
There might be. I don't know. But usually these come with the bonus card. Like last year, they came with a Felding Hippogriff.
Does that come with every single Secret Layer?
What?
Do they all have special cards?
Yeah,
they do, and we don't know what they are until
I can't wait to see what the Chibi Walker special card is.
Yeah,
I swear I saw an art for a Tarmogoyf like this.
I mean, that would be super sweet to have a Tarmogoyf in here. But
that's the bonus card of the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah. I just want the Birds of Paradise. That's like my style, Birds of Paradise. Just it farting rainbows.
I mean, isn't that what like the M10 promo one was like?
Yeah, but that one is actually like, it looks sweet. This I like the white background.
It looks sweet. I want this one.
Yeah, it looks sweet. This one's farting rainbows.
The Mole Drifter one
Yeah.
for the cube, but I have like the F&M promo, which is like $20.
The F&M promo's cooler in my opinion.
Oh, that was the third card, Mole Drifter.
Yep, I have those. I would just stick with the F&M promo. That one's way sweeter, more iconic. But yeah, this is that one. And then, oh man. So the Secret Lair 30th Anniversary Collection Kit, they revealed all 30 cards. The pre-orders go on November 7th. They are $149.99. You get 30 different cards. And then that's the packaging that you can see in the below right there. And there's a 30% chance that any of them will be foil. And you got...
a lot of good cards.
Oh, yeah.
So let's just say that. A lot of good cards. Notables are
banger.
Necropotence, Elspeth's Champion.
No. Limb Duel's Vault, Smokestack. I got them all here.
I have money to spend on this right now, but this is worth every penny.
Wild Mongrel drawn like a...
The Wild Mongrel is amazing.
I'm going to buy a Wild Mongrel. Oh my god.
Almost like a Ren and Stimpy-esque thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Wild Mongrel is amazing. This Lin Civi, I can't place this art style at all. Like, and this Squee bothers me like to no end. I don't know why it bothers me. I hate this
baby Squee.
Yeah, it's a bad Squee.
It's got a baby face.
I hate that thing so much. Chromox. That's
Glimpse of Nature is sick.
Yeah.
Right, I was shocked when I saw that.
Yeah, it is amazing. These are sweet. Genesis is a great card. The Ponder, pretty awesome.
Yeah, there's like $100.
Well, that Ponder. I have that Ponder artwork tattooed on me.
It's
already.
It's so cool.
What Fish Lady in Teardrops is what your tattoo
no,
is?
the eyeball.
Oh, okay.
You got Heritage Druid, Bloodbraid Elf, and Sun Titan.
Yeah, I know.
Heritage
Too
Druid
many Bloodbraids already.
Yeah, Bloodbraid was underwhelming. They could have done something cooler.
It's not even the price. It's just like they've already done it so many times, and that's one of the things that like stop doing that.
Titan.
Yeah.
Although I guess what would you have picked from that standard season?
From Alara block?
Mm-hmm.
Progenitus.
Future.
Oh, okay, all right, fine.
Progenitus is a good Progenitus. I don't know. That sets cuts. Yeah.
I'm Steve. Yeah, give me that. Remember when that was a hot deck for like 2 seconds?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
It.
Rocks Warmonk. I don't know. There's a lot of cool cards from that era. I love that stuff.
Rocks Warmonk.
Birthing Pod. Death. Yeah, that's what.
No, these are all good cards.
Deathred Shaman looks amazing, dude. This card eventually will be good in Pioneer. I don't know when.
Also, old Elspeth, I'm all in on.
Yeah, it's so and Rebecca Guay, which I'm a huge fan of.
Right.
Siege Rhino, which Jesus, that thing looks sweet.
It's just Rebecca Gay, by the way. I'm pretty sure you don't pronounce the U.
Oh, my bad. I'm Rebecca Gay. Dragon Lord Orchai, Thalia. The bad Thalia. I don't know if this one even gets played. Chibi, Nico Bolas, a sweet art like Phoenix. This Emery has like a love-hate relationship in the community. A lot of people hate this art. I love it.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, it's alright.
Art like Phoenix is dope.
Makes me think of like someone like one of the dying princesses from Adventure Time.
Yeah, it looks like a pastel version of it.
It does look like Adventure Time.
Yeah. And then you have the Shark Typhoon. I hate when they do this. I hate when they take championship cards and make them again. Like I feel like if you win a world championship card, it should be your art, and like what they did with Bob and all. I hate when they do this.
Right. The Shark Typhoon was so sick though.
So they obviously had this idea and this art before, like they might have thought this card was going to be something. Nashi, Moon, Sage, Scion. I literally don't have any idea what this card is. Yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to say about this one is everyone buy it because it's really cool, and then sell the singles to the ones you don't want, so that way I can get a cheaper, cheaper ones that I want.
Just get the Chromox.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah. All right. More stuff. Releases December 2nd. Now, there's Jumpstart boosters that come alongside every single booster box. So, like, Dominator United has Jumpstart, but this is actually the Jumpstart 2022, which is just all unique cards. I don't know why they're doing Jumpstart alongside like Dominator United and all that. Like that makes no sense to me. It doesn't even have like exclusive cards. But one anime inspired card in every pack, just so you know.
What does that mean?
You get one. Every pack has an anime card in
The
it.
art is the anime art.
Yeah.
Kikijiki.
Yeah. So they showed the deck list of the Speedy deck. They have Kikijiki, which one of the posts we made this week was, "Who is this cat?" They got some traction.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like all the combo pieces are in the art.
Yeah, it's super cool. I like that. And then they have a Goblin card here, which is Andreas Cobbler of War.
Where's the anime one? Show me.
I think EG's the
Right
anime.
there.
This is anime.
That's the
Kinda.
It's medium. The other one is much more anime-esque.
the Cold Steel Heart is like very obvious.
Yep. So this card could be good in Goblins. I don't know. It gives everything +2/+0, and it's pretty cheap. So when it enters the battlefield, it's a 2-minute 3/1 with haste. So could this see play in Legacy? Maybe. Just because it gives like.
Oh, that's the new card.
Yeah, it's
There is
the
a one of. It's like it's better than like a second cheap or cheap goblin.
yeah. You're already playing Chieftain, which gives all your team haste, and then this is just going to make sure that everything that comes into play. So if you're able to like pile driver, your pile driver is going to be able to come in with extra whatever. I don't even think they play like one pile driver nowadays. But and then the other one, the animated art of the Cold Steel.
Oh yeah, the Cold Steel is great. I was talking about how I wanted that.
Yeah, it's super sick. So and then they have Isu the Indomitable, which is a Bant themed snow card, so you can do a Bant snow deck now.
So is that all there is? Just these two decks?
Yeah, that's all they've shown
No,
for the deck
that's-
list.
Oh, so there's more coming, but they just haven't shown them.
Yeah, so how Jumpstart works is you buy 2 packs and the packs are themed, and then how you play with a friend is you take the 2 packs, you smash them together.
Shuffle them together.
Yep, and
Yeah.
play the 30 card deck. So
Kind of like that board game Smash Up or whatever, the cardboard game.
Yep, exactly. So that's what this is. We don't know. It looks like everything's gonna have a new exclusive card, so that's always kind of fun. But I hope we don't end up with like an Allosaurus Shepherd again, just because like the cost of that card was $100 because nobody bought Jumpstart stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, it was just hard to find.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and also
It was super limited.
they did the word. I don't know if they're doing it with this one, but with the original Jumpstart, there was like 4 different versions of elves. You had elves, and then there was like the only difference that would change would be the rare and the elves. So you would get like elves 1, elves 2, elves 3, but it would just be called elves, and you would open it and not get the one that had.
So saying you feel burned because
You're
you
like-
didn't get the good one. You were
Yeah.
like, oh, elves, yeah. And then you're like, oh, man, I don't have the $100 card.
That one always felt so like I don't know why they did that. That was
Fuck.
bizarre. But yeah. Oracle text update. They updated a whole bunch of stuff. Pretty much they're starting to keyword things that we've been complaining about. Like Consider now has Surveil 1. It doesn't say that, so it works and interacts with cards that have Surveil. So for those people who love
Kind of cool.
yeah, I think it's great for the people that love like playing Surveil.
What was that really good creature that had, like, when you surveil, do something
Give me
stupid?
your spy bug. There's that one. There's disinformation campaign. There's like
Oh,
they're
There's the
genius.
mythic that's really good
Oh, I don't remember.
that played in that deck. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember.
All right, well, whatever. I would totally do that if I got more options.
Yeah, and then
I know what
they
card you're talking about.
added landfall. This got discovered. I think this is something they're going to announce, but either way, people were on gathering and goes, wait a minute, this says this on their Oracle text update. So, fantastic, love it. And they usually indicates to me that Considered and Tyler's Tracker are probably coming soon with landfall on them in some kind of product, but they did up all a bunch of them, but great. All right, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the regional championships are going to have open deck lists. I hate this premise, but a lot of people.
Why?
I hate
Okay,
open
yeah.
deck lists. I
I want to
love
know why you don't like it.
open deck
As a
lists.
person who used to play in tournaments, tell me why.
Secret tech, and I know this is like the meme of like secret tech. I like the idea of being able to play a hot, spicy one, and your opponent can't prepare for it.
Gotcha.
So they get
Right.
to literally before you sit down, they can see your entire 75. They just look you up
And
on
it's
MTGO.
different in the top 8.
No, this is the entire tournament.
I know. What I'm saying is it's different if it's just in the top
In the
8.
top 8, you've already made it, right? And
People know you, and
The-
people have been
theoretic-
scouting or whatever.
Theoretically, you've been scouted. And there's the ultra competitive people who are like, well, if I go to a tournament alone, I'm at a disadvantage because people are scouting me. and they have teams that are scouting the top tables. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's just like such minimal effort. One, whatever hot tech that you have, it would have to be in your sideboard or whatever. And then two, people have to like it's a lot of effort from like a energy level, right? Like if people are scouting you at the energy, it just feels like whatever, you know.
Let them.
Yeah. But at like the RC level, this is obviously like the next step of the Pro Tour. I don't know. I like Kibler he had a post where it's like, yeah, I remember I played this blah 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 card from like the time of like Rebels, and because his opponent didn't know he had it, he got to completely mop the floor with them. It was like hot tech versus Rebels, but like if he knew,
that was also at a time when people weren't sharing deck lists as much as they do now.
No, that is fair too. But my point is this: like, I should be able to keep some spicy ones if I wanted to in my sideboard, and even if I bring them in against like matchups, my opponent may not know or see them, and then I don't know. Like, I hate the idea of.
I guess I don't care because I don't think I'll ever make it. So whatever.
Yeah, okay, but like you're playing lands. Like when you go to a tournament with Legacy,
does not affect me.
Well, you go to a tournament and you play like lands, right? Well, if your opponent knows on lands, they're gonna keep a different style hand against you. You know, like they're play versus draw, and also I'm lazy and I hate the extra effort of I gotta look at my opponent's name, gotta look at their deck list before I get to my table. I hate it. It's just annoying to me.
I guess that I didn't think about is that you get the like couple minutes to get to the chair or whatever.
Well, you got to do it too because your opponent's going to do it. So
that's
it's
what
like,
I mean. During that, he can do it.
The effort of that
do it.
annoys me. So I don't know. I don't like it. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge proponent, like a huge fan of just being able to like have cards that are one-ofs that are like spicy, and then because
play your gotchas.
Yeah, I've played in tournaments where I've played cards and it's just completely out of left field, and my opponent picks it up, reads it, and goes, "Well, I can't beat that." And you're like, "Oh, sweet, I got there." But I guess that if they know what that card is, they're more likely to play around it. You know, that's all.
I mean, like when you went to that tournament with that really bad quest deck. That
was a known deck. It's just everybody was it? Yeah, it was a known deck. I played the deck because it was a top 8 of the tournament, so I was like, I'm gonna pick this up because I couldn't afford Jace's, and I was sick of playing vampires because it was getting crushed. All right, so I think now we can go. Oh yeah, well I'm gonna go fetch Ollie. You guys can talk about this sweet stuff.
Fetch Ollie, huh? I mean, if we're gonna talk about this,
both these the Eternal Weekend card promos are mids.
Hey, Ponder.
Mids.
Old Border is cool. I'm all about it.
Mids.
I don't care about the art because I'd just rather go get the other Old Border Ponder. I think it's better.
Right. The other one's better.
I wish they would have just done the original Ponder in Old Border instead, and then I would have been like,
sick.
I would have been like, oh man, I need
sick.
these.
People would have lost their minds. People would lose their minds over those Ponders.
Yep, because those Ponders are cool.
I think Ollie's here.
Ollie, what do you like more? Original Ponder with the Merfolk or M10 Ponder?
Titty Ponder actually tilts me.
Really?
Yeah, Merfolk Titty Ponder. I like have it. There was one of the first times I played Legacy. I borrowed Aunt Mark's Ponders, which are like French Lorwyn Ponders, and it drove me crazy the entire time. I can't stand Merfolk Titty Ponder.
That's so funny.
I'm a fan of the
we were
talking. One.
We were talking about the Eternal Weekend, how they have a new Ponder art, and I was like, if they would have done the original Ponder with the old border, I would have gotten all the ones I could.
Just
there's 24 of them, just so we're clear.
24 total get handed out?
There's going to be 24 of those Ponders in existence.
32.
Okay, never mind.
I'm sorry, you're right. 32. My apologies.
Yeah, there's 32. But yeah, those things are going to be a spicy meatball. They're not foil. But yeah, this is Ollie. He was on a previous cast. He is one of the Legacy diehards. He's part of the Gaddock Tigers. He loves playing Legacy. He's actually, I think you are a TO of a online Legacy league, or what is that called again?
It's the Paper Legacy Discord. Basically, we just run weekly events and monthly leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's kind of like my bread and butter within the like online Legacy community. Is like that webcam magic.
Yeah.
Ollie's big time in us boys.
So the announcement of Eternal Weekend. Are you planning on going to Eternal Weekend in Philly?
All right. So for a long time now, I've been saying with a couple of my buddies that the second that Eternal Weekend went back to being in person, that we were going to all fly out to it.
Yeah.
And then immediately this gets announced, and all of us are busy that weekend. It'd be really, really easy for me to be kind of take that negative take that almost everyone on Eternal Twitter has right now.
Yeah.
Which is just like, oh, I can't believe they gave us 5 weeks, yada yada yada. This is so bad. This what trash organizing. And y'all, I'm just really happy it's happening again. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to go. We got a Christmas family weekend, and plus that'd be like 3 times flying out in like the last quarter of this year, which would not work out for me.
Sure.
But I'm really happy it's firing. I'm really hoping that it does well. My worst case scenario is that it has really poor attendance. And just like all the negativity that's kind of going around the community goes too far, and they're just like, all right, let's scrap it. This was a bad idea. I hope it's great. I hope it's amazing, and I hope it gets announced with more than 5 weeks heads up and not in December next year. Yeah, and I will immediately go and take a long weekend.
When's LobsterCon?
LobsterCon's like midsummer.
LobsterCon was like April of this last year, if I recall correctly.
What am I thinking of? I thought you guys were going to a big Legacy tournament soon.
The Chicken Dip today.
The Chicken Dip, that's it.
The Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy Open. Yeah, there's going to be gas. It's going to be a lot of fun.
When is that?
2 weekends after this upcoming one, the second weekend of November, I believe.
You are so busy with Magic. You are going to that, and then you're going to the MCQ.
RCQ.
Right after?
Oh, we're going. This is about to be the craziest November of my life. We're going to Vegas, where I'm playing almost no Magic the entire time that I'm there.
Yep.
For Magic 30, got like 175 cards to get signed for 6 people. It's going to be amazing. 1 weekend off, where we're probably going to play in a local RCQ. The weekend after that, we're going out to Columbus for the Legacy tournament at a brewery. The weekend after that, we go down to Atlanta and have a fantastic time down there.
So just Magic weekends back to back to back to back.
Nice.
Do you can I ask you? Do you have any idea what you're going to be playing in Pioneer yet?
I've been doing a lot of testing. Yeah. I'm with me knowing my skill set. The issue that I have with Pioneers, I'm really primarily a combo player. That's kind of been my bread and butter for a really long time in almost every format. And I've been struggling a lot with it in Pioneer because I don't think Lotus Field, no matter what like the couple of diehards say about what his position is going to be like, I don't think it's actually going to be that great.
Yeah.
I don't want to play a bunch of red-black mid-range wars because that is not the Magic that I'm going to succeed with against a bunch of grinders who that is their bread and butter.
Yeah.
I played mono green for a while. The big issue that I had with the idea of playing mono green is that that's going to be target number 1 on my head, and I trust a bunch of the teams that are getting ready for it, like the big 20-man, 10-man teams that are kind of like prepping for it, to have the tech or just to have the game plan that's tilted to be able to beat a bunch of mono green players. Right. So I've been trying to find the way that I want to approach it. There's 2 things, or there's 3 ways. If I really want, I can borrow mono green from enough places that I put it together, and maybe I'll end up doing that. But I think what's actually going to happen is I'm going to take the aggro slants and very likely take some sort of variation of mono white because it's my favorite bit in the format.
Huh. Okay.
Otherwise, I could be going with Gruul aggro, the Bushwhacker deck. I've been doing a lot of testing with that, and that has been pretty fantastic, honestly. Really popularized by Doomwake of late. I believe he top 2'd like an RCQ and a challenge in the same weekend, and it's been a really impressive list for sure.
Yeah.
But honestly, my favorite deck to play in Pioneer right now is the Enigmatic Incarnation decks, like the 4-color or 5-color Ketria. They're playing like
the
9 Triomes, Yorion. You're literally toolboxing your like Trial of Ambition into Renegade Rallier to bring it back.
The Birth and Power enchantments.
Yeah, you do Leyline Binding into Titan of Industry or Archon of I'm sorry, not Archon. Agent of Treachery, and then flicker that with Yorion. It is literally the most fun I've ever had playing this format. It is so much fun.
It is,
and anybody, and ultimately, what this deck kind of brings up is that the Yorion ban in Modern was not necessary for dexterity takes or for the dexterity case because you just need to play in single sleeve and it's the same size as a regular deck.
Yep.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm just going to go down, have a lot of fun, and probably be approaching it either with the mono white aggro or with the Gruul aggro deck.
Yeah, that's probably the best choice. I was watching some streams of like the mono green today on Pioneer, and the combo aspect where you can loop Karn, Kiora, and Nykthos and create like infinite mana and then mill your opponent is just like, Jesus, this is so wild to me. Like what's happening here. But yeah.
it also is incredibly difficult to keep track of in paper in a clear way that doesn't get you punished at Comp REL, because the way it works with like the Chain Veil and like needing to track how many activations of Chain Veil have happened, because new planeswalkers that come in also are able to activate that many of times, they still get the extra ones. So it's like you have to track how many Chain Veil activations and how much mana. Not able to use dice anymore at Comp REL, of course, that happened before COVID. And then also be tracking this Kiora has been activated twice and this Karn's been activated 3 times. And it's just a mess that's kind of waiting for you to stumble. Like the real way to play against mono green at this event is going to be being down your, or just being like hovering at your opponent, waiting for them to make a mistake and calling judge calls and trying to get people punished like that, which is unfortunate.
You should be able to be like, I'm going to demonstrate, because it is a loop. You can demonstrate the loop, but you have to demonstrate it like accurately, and then go, if I'm going to do this 1 million times, I now have 1 million mana, and I'm going to, I think every time you do it, you also gain life. So you're like, I think both players gain life, so you and your opponent are both going to be at 1 million life, but you're like, okay, now that I have this much life, I'm going to activate, because the card that you're bringing back, it's a regrowth effect that goes into exile, but it's also a on the front side, it's an artifact, so and it exiles itself, so you get it with the Karn, and then you do, you're like gaining life, and then you're like, all right, I'm at 60 life, I'm gonna mill you for however many. So like, you can demonstrate the loop.
The interesting case is where like on the clean combo turns, you're like, I have whatever 14 devotion, and these are the cards I get in this order. You're fine, but there's like these weird alternate lines that you have to take, where that's where it can get really, really tricky, and where you can kind of catch your opponents, which is weird. But
if you're not familiar with the deck, like you can get punished for not being able to. And that line, honestly, it's for it's for when you're going against like the Lotus Field decks, because you really don't have any. It's hard to beat them before they can Lotus Field you. So you're like, I have to go for the combo win here and try to just, because they don't interact with your board at all.
But I was about to say their combo is faster than yours.
Yeah, well, yours just takes, you need like 7 permanents plus, Nykthos and then some. So, yeah. So Eternal Weekend, they showed the Ponder and the Gush. Are you interested in either of these cards?
I'm interested. Yeah, they're like super cool trophies, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be so, I mean, what did we say? 24, 32 of those Ponders are going to exist. I am not going to own any of them because I am not going to be willing to shell out that much money.
That'd be insane.
So no, I'm going to be sticking with my old border sign Dan Scott Ponders more than
yeah, there you go.
No Merfolk art for me, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea of using cards as these like these secondary trophies.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, there is still painting payout for the first place. Is that correct?
So that's what there's a. I have a photo. If you I don't know if you're watching the stream or not, or if you're on our Discord stream, but like I have a Brian Koval holding the Time Walk from 2018. It's it's a painting or whatever. That's what these other things are. So the Gush and the Ponders are cards that you'll get, and then if you top 8 the Magic Online Championship, they'll mail you the Ponder and or Gush. And then they have the Eternal Weekend trophies, which are those large size cards, which is Gaia's Cradle for Legacy and the Asia Legacy Championships, and then for Vintage is Bazaar of Baghdad. These things are pretty highly desired. I know there's a specific guy that goes out and like hunts these down.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought I saw Tabernacle somewhere.
There is. That's for the North American.
That's the Magic Online. That's for the Magic Online one. Tabernacle. Yeah. I believe instead of an EU event, there's the event in Japan, there's the event in NA, and then instead of an EU one, because they were having a lot of difficulty scheduling it, they're just turning that into a Magic Online one. So there's the weird situation where anybody can play in that online one. So, but it's also like the EU one. So like, you can be in Brazil and have the Tabernacle or whatever, which is this is really interesting. Funny. The paintings really historically they go for at least 6 figures, like roughly from like the public estimates and like the public knowledge for the couple of people who have put that out there. It's like 15K to like 40K, kind of depending on what the piece is. So really it's a substantial check. I mean, it is a collector's item to end all collector's items, right? Where like the original painting for Mark Zug's Gaia's Cradle, there's one in the world and that person's never going to let it go. But then all of a sudden you have a second Gaia's Cradle that's produced that is as collectible as that original one.
Yeah, I mean, it also like, it's the people that win that event. If you don't care about the art, it's look at this trophy I can hang up behind me that it's a one of a kind. Like it's way better than getting like a stupid trophy that they go and buy. Like how many of those trophies exist from like the pro tours that have like hold it this way because we went cheap and it broke. Like they're just crappy trophies. Whereas this would be way cooler because it's a highly desired thing and.
It's hard to mess up a frame sometimes. Or it's not hard, but you can mess up it. frames go a long way further than a trophy does.
Yeah,
I love how many people in our comments when you posted these, Tony, thought that the oversized, like the paintings, were actual cards getting printed. And it's like, no.
I also
no one
said
is taking home a tabernacle.
I also said in the post that they're oversized. Like people just don't read. They see like Time Walk with this and like. Blah!
I know. Well, it's because Magic 30 left a bad taste in people's mouths, so they're yelling about it.
That's
everything.
Still going. All right. So Ali, I brought you on mainly because I'd like to talk a little bit about Legacy in the online world versus the paper world. So some of the things that have been happening from an online standpoint, there's a lot of Minsk and Boo, and people are frustrated by that card, and that's just because how Magic Online is structured. It benefits people that play faster games, so you see a lot more Delver on there, you see a lot more Doomsday, and you see definitely more like of these Minsk and Boo piles, and then eventually you see a little bit of lands on there too, because they're fast decks. As far as anything that's more tricky, like Cephalid Breakfast styles, I don't know if that's still a deck, or Alluring combos, those don't really exist online just because the triggers that it takes, and also you can just lose to random stuff too.
Yeah, it's what you're describing in terms of the sentiment that's been coming out with Minsk and Boo kind of being the latest of a long line of things of supplemental products that have come out and affected Legacy.
Yeah.
It is frustrating some people. I'm kind of in this opposite take where I actually think supplemental products are gas for Legacy and have directly improved it.
Yeah.
And then, as you also speak of with the Magic Online basically making a bunch of clicks being a lot harder, I'm not going to lie, if we could implement a chess clock in Magic, I would actually be incredibly on board with that.
100%, dude. 100%.
I would be so down for that. But
so,
that's
yeah.
Go ahead. What are you saying, Tony?
I have a chess clock. I was going to bring it to an F&M, and I wanted to try it with somebody to see if we could do it, but I don't know how it would be dealt. Like, every time you pass priority, you just slam the clock.
See, and that's why it doesn't work in Magic, right? If this was Hearthstone, where it's like we have turns and they are very like we have a strict dividing line between the two of those, it'd be so much easier, right? Like chess, I make my move, I hit it. But for us, it's like I'm putting this brainstorm on the stack. You now have priority. You now have to think on it. You then solve. Like, and it's not actually doable. It really.
I was about to say it just becomes a lot of slapping the clock over and over.
Slap, pass. Imagine after every single phase of the turn, because we don't have stops in Paper Magic if we're doing the chess clock, I'm ending my main phase. I slap the clock. I then don't start going to my beginning combat until you slap the clock back, right? And you just go through that through every end of combat phase, into first main or into second main phase, into end step. Yeah, it doesn't work. And that's why we have our time system as it is, and why every single player who's playing at Comp REL or even at their FNM should be reminding their opponents to play faster.
Yes.
I think people have to be less nervous about
Easier
that.
said than done, though. It's so hard to
police people on it.
Well, you're asking a lot of things. One, you're asking yourself to put the confrontation portion of, hey, can you play faster? Which all of a sudden changes the mood of the game because your opponent's going, hey, this is an FNM. And then when you want to get into force, now you have to bring a judge who's probably running the store with 40 people inside of it. That's going to be like, I can't do this. Figure it out.
The hard part of it also is when you're calling a judge at Comp REL, you can't say they've been tanking on this turn for 5 minutes and they give a warning. They can only be giving out warnings and be making decisions based off of what they are directly observing. So that's why there's a running joke for green white depths players and like fair players, which is when your opponent resolves Doomsday, you immediately call a judge, because you can't call a judge after they've been searching their deck and making this pile for 5 minutes. Like our win percentage is increased by putting you have a judge behind you. You have 2 minutes to put this together before they start telling you that you need to get this done.
Yeah. So one of the techniques I've always done, I've never gone and said to my opponent ever like, hey, like call a judge and then tell them in front of the judge, watch for slow play. I've always gone over to the side. I've taken the judge over. Like I have a question that I have to step away from the table, and I go, hey, can you just watch for slow play? And then I come back to the table, and because my opponent doesn't realize that I've asked them to watch for slow play, they'll still continue to slow play. But when you've alerted, like, hey, can you watch for slow play, judge? And then now they'll speed up.
Just make sure you're also keeping track of how many seconds it takes for you to go to the side and get that judge. So you also ask for that extension afterwards.
I've done that.
Hey, it took a minute for us to walk it to the side.
They're usually the judges are pretty typically like knowledgeable about that. Like they're pretty reasonable about that, and they'll do it for you.
Well, no, well, let's say Sometimes you can get some.
Yeah,
some
that's just it. It's just like legal rights, right? Like you also need it's just like in the real world. I need to advocate for my own legal rights. You should also be advocating for your magic rights.
Yes.
Make sure you are also checking into clock so you can correct the judge if they're off by a minute on that. But anyway, back to the broad scale point. When it comes to competitive Magic at a paper event, there's a couple of different factors. So we've entered this MTGO world where everybody has rental services. I pay $60 a month for my Magic Online rental service to make I can play any deck that I want. And that's basically what the vast majority of people are doing in terms of people who are entering challenges or people who are entering like whatever Eternal Weekend Online, right? Of course, that's where there's an all access, right? But people have access to all the cards. And so as a result, there's a lot more of the effect of people trying to pick the right deck for the weekend, a certain deck to attack like a certain plan. Oh, I'm going to play Mono Red Stompy because XJ Cloud's been doing so good at it and says it has a great Delver matchup, yada, yada, yada. And as a result, what kind of happens is people are all over the place with what deck they can choose. And so they often gravitate towards what the hive mind is saying is good at that time.
Right.
Like there was the period when Paper Magic came up and Michael Mabson, Rodney Bedell, and took down like back-to-back SCG events. And everyone's saying, wow, oh my goodness, Green-White Depths is so great against Delver. By the way, it is. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And there was this giant upswing in terms of like the Magic Online events that were happening and people playing Green-White Depths. So there's this like whatever the hive mind kind of thinks is good and are talking about that it's like a great way to attack the metagame, they will do it. And this happens in other formats too. I forget the name of the content creator who, after an NRG event, was saying, wow, Mono White Aggro and Pioneer has a really favored matchup against Rakdos as long as you're playing 4 wedding announcements. And all of a sudden everyone's playing that. Like there's this kind of call and response that happens of like the hive mind gets aware of some trend or gets some belief and people play it. And so as a result, online there are these wide disparate numbers of decks coming in, disappearing, but then also the tried and true Delver is good, people will play Delver. Eternal Weekend Online, for those who don't know, like the past 2 years of it happening during COVID, they had all access packs that went out with it. So you bought your Eternal Weekend entry, and then you also had access to the full Magic Online collection for a period of like a month or whatever. And the truth is, the vast majority of people who were just like a modern grinder who like wanted to do this because they then had access to all the cards for a month, they played Delver, right? Or they played whatever other like top tier deck because Delver has a lot of play patterns that transfer well to from other formats into other formats, and also it's this thing where this play pattern has kind of repeated itself a lot over time, right? So like if you were a Delver in the Grixis Delver days of Deathrite Shaman, a lot of those skills are still transferable into like modern day Delver. There hasn't been a lot of variation in terms of like assessing when is the correct time to Wasteland. Or assessing when is the correct time to daze, assessing how to be sequencing your cantrips. Those sorts of skills have transferred really well long run. So like there's people like I forget his name off the top of my head. Whatever, just Delver specialists who are have been on these plans for such a long time, and a lot of other people who are coming in to play these to jump in on the deck because it's perceived as the best deck. That said, there's that same effect that happens in paper. It's just so much slower. So that same Green-White Depths example, it didn't happen the next week in paper, but it happened over the next 3 months of way more people playing Green-White Depths and Naya Depths because they're like, oh, Naya Depths is so good. Look, I have all the cards except for Mox Diamond. Let's start building this deck. And then they, over a month or 2 months or 3 months, they put the deck together and then they have it and they play it. That said, there's also the thing where people will play the decks that they have access to, right? Where I personally own 2 Volcanic Islands. I am not going to put together Delver unless I borrow 2 Volks from JB or somebody else, right?
Coward. I only play 2 Volcanics.
You played
I've been that way for a while.
4 Stifles also, Josh. Like, let's not talk about Josh's Delver builds tilt me because they're actually way better against the decks that I play than they should be, but Stifle's still a bad card and nobody should play it.
No, it's not. Stifle's the best card in Legacy. That's really my deck. My deck is really just Stifle Wasteland.
It's so good against Doomsday to have 4 Stifles. It's not even funny. That makes it's so bad. Anyway, go ahead, Tony.
Cute Thassa. Dink. Gotcha.
It's terrible. It's horrible. But there are still these same effects. There's that classic thing that people have said for ages back in the SCG era, which is like the paper meta, when there's even weekly when there was weekly SCGs that were happening every single weekend, the paper meta game was always 2 to 3 weekends behind at the very latest, where there'd be some innovation that's like great for a challenge. It's not good the next weekend online, but it'll still be good like 2 to 3 weekends later in paper, and that's just because we're slower to adapt.
Yep.
As another illustration, Maxtortion popularized Doomsday again recently by winning a challenge with 2 Shieldreds in the sideboard as a transformational sideboard plan. By the next weekend, kind of everybody who was playing online was aware of that and had like, it wasn't a surprise when all of a sudden there was like a Shieldred coming in a bunch of these matchups.
Yep.
But you best believe that 3 weeks after that, if you were playing in a Legacy 5K, you were still going to absolutely blindside your opponents by bringing in a Shieldred against them, right? This tech that's old online is still quote unquote new in paper and will still get people.
Because not everyone's up to date as they should be. Or
well, if there's 200 people showing up to an event, how many of them are playing Magic online versus how many people just there's a Legacy event, I play Legacy 3 times a year.
Yeah, or who's looking through the deck dumps? Like I don't. I pride myself on going through the deck dumps. Let me tell you how many times I click on a link going, what is this no black pile right here? Oh, it's this deck. All right, I'm not even going to look through the 75. All right, I know what this is. And that's just what everyone does. Like, I don't see the 2 sideboard card changes. Yep. You need to be so diligent or be in part of a community that is really combing it over and pointing out to you, hey, this is the new tech. Hey, Green White Depths is starting to play Hall of Gemstones. By the way, you should buy your Hall of Gemstones now. Last time I was on, I talked about how you should be buying your Minskin Boos, and those Minskin Boos have spiked since then. You should maybe buy Hall of Gemstones if you like playing green decks and you want to be able to beat 4-color. Anyway, that's
what is that card? Where is it? I don't even know what
it does.
It's a world enchantment that at the beginning of each upkeep, the active player picks a color, and every land can only produce those colors. So it turns off Prismatic Ending, which is your answer to those types of permanents out of the 4-color deck. It makes it so they can't cast Run in 6. It makes it so they can never cast or escape Uro. And it just like it's just like, this is your window to swords right now. This is it. Anyway, Hall of Gemstones, great card. Props to DN Solver and the rest of the Green White Depths community for kind of putting that together as being an amazing
card. It's already a $20 card.
Yeah, it was like 50. It was 15 in the beginning of this. And it's also reserved list. Fun fact.
Go get it.
Yeah. Thank you, Scryfall, for pointing out which cards are reserved list for me because I can't keep track of it myself.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I answered the question. I'm not so sure. I've kind of been running
No.
This running all over the place with this answer.
You've definitely broke down the premise of like how paper versus online goes from like information standpoint and how the meta shifts, and like the 3-month period versus the 1-week period is pretty big. As far as Unfinity cards that have come out, I don't think Magic Online is going to have the capability to add sticker boards and or attraction decks. So that's going to be lost if anything is irrelevant. So for example, I've been seeing lists that have been popping up for goblins with blank goblin, because you can go War Chief, which makes that card cheaper, and then you can play that into Muxus, which is like a huge mana jump. Which is
I believe if you make the stickers correctly, you have a minimum, because you have 10. I don't know how many sticker sheets there are, but there. Yeah. But I don't mean like the total number in existence, but you pick 10 going, but when you're putting your deck together, right?
Yep.
And I believe if you make the correct number, it's something like you have like a 33% chance of, no matter what your stickers that you ran, your sticker sheets that you randomly get, you have like a 33% a chance that you have 4 as the cheapest option. So no matter what, you just like. Everyone calls it Mind Goblin because the old Mind Goblin joke. Right?
Yeah.
Goblin these nuts.
Yeah, got Mind Goblin these nuts. Yeah. No matter what, even as long as you build your sticker sheet correctly, it will be a 1/1 that produces an extra mana, and it's like more often than not producing 5. So it's the Seething Song with the body, and then has the War Chief stuff as well.
Yep.
My take on it is Turbo Muxus has actually been like one of the worst parts of Goblins lately. Before this, were like decks were actually cutting back on Muxus because in the post-board games, what you were doing so much is you were hedging on it already. And like, I'm not deep in the Goblins community. I have literally one Oklahoma homie who like sends me Goblins list to update it. Like when Jeff borrowed my Goblins deck recently, that was Dows's list.
Yeah.
And that I just trust everything that he says. He's parsing through everything for me. I'll never know. But according to him, the data that is run is that like the turboing out Muxus lines of like Lackey into Muxus actually win a far less consistency than the grind me like spending my 2-drop that shoots down things into me going a matron into ringleader. Those sorts of games are the ones that you win more often.
Yeah.
So we'll see how much better this like turbo muxusy type deal is.
Well,
I have a sneaking suspicion that food chain goblins is going to be a better way to turbo out still, just because the way that works is you go like turn 2 food chain, or you play a food chain and then the first matron you play always turns into a muxus.
Yeah.
Because you have food chain in play, you play matron, you sack it for 4 mana, you got another matron off of it. You get another matron, now you have 5, and then you get that last matron to have 6 mana off of food chain
muxus,
and muxus. But there should be a shout out given out to JB for absolutely ruining everybody's legacy experience at the last legacy FNM.
Oh, we talked about
it at the first. He talked about it right at the front of the show.
Dude, Ollie, when I was sitting kitty corner from you, the guy I was playing against was so upset. He wanted nothing to do with those cards.
And what we just witnessed there was the slow destruction of the Milwaukee Legacy community. As that person never comes back to play with us at Legacy FNM ever again. We want to watch. JB had fun at least.
Clap.
I like walked over at a long match that you were playing, and I just like, look, you're playing against Daniel, one of the local grinders, really good Magic player. And I just felt the misery. I felt bad for him for sitting there because I couldn't keep track of what was going on. I didn't want to keep track. There was like 4 brainstorms on the stack or something like that. I don't know. It was impossible to keep track.
Bunch of free ponders, you know.
Yeah. But
yeah.
So I guess with JB ruined legacy for the Milwaukee community. Thank you for doing that. And then we're gonna call this thing Mind Goblin. What I've seen, and it's hard to see because we won't see this online, so it's hard to see if there's any like concrete results from it. But even just like the ringleader plans, being able to have enough mana to like play this, and then like if you have a war chief on the battlefield, if you get 6 mana, you can go ringleader and then more. Like this just extends your plays and also increases your goblin count. And then with like Scourge Prospector, I like the idea of being able to do all this. And yes, there's variance in it of the like the 33% chance of 4 mana, 5 mana, 6 mana, but the all-in plays of like you get the 6 mana that one time is going to have such feel bads because you can chain into like a ringleader into the next thing, and it's going to give people such headaches.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it raised a really good point, which is that like the Magic hive mind is so bad at understanding how good things are when they don't have access to it on Magic Online.
Yep.
And Minsc and Boo is the perfect example of that, where before it got released, the only people who played Minsc and Boo were the Green-White Depths players because we always test a 1 of everything. And we're like, oh, we're already in Naya. Oh, wow, this is good. I'm playing 1 main, 1 sideboard. Oh my goodness, Hamster's the truth.
Yeah.
Arn, a player in Germany, is playing Legacy FNMs every single week and is always reporting Hamsters won me all these games.
Yep.
So we all bought our Minsc and Boos. We all played them. It was great. And the second it's online and the greater Magic community starts testing with it, all of a sudden we have these Yorion 5-color
it's Delver lists that are playing it everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So for all we know, Mind Goblin could be amazing. Mind Goblin could also be like breaking Tony Scapone style epic gamble storm decks for all that we know. But the truth is we won't find out until it's actually online because that's just not where like the primary testing and the primary Magic hive mind really is.
Right.
That says anybody who tries telling me that now every single Legacy player needs to like present the stickers before every single game is an absolute liar, because I have not been walking around with dungeons in my deck and everyone said that we were going to have to do that because of Acererak being printed.
Yep.
It's kind of like the old everyone has to play Snowlands. It's like no,
everyone has to bring goblin tokens in their dex box and make sure that they're in the very front. And whatever.
Right.
Oh, look at what I have here. I'm not playing this. Blah blah blah. Yeah. But so there's Mind Goblin was one of those that has revealed to be like a card. There's a card from the Warhammer decks that's getting played. It's actually like a cascade card that you can infinitely cascade because of how it's set up. And then eventually there's a card that allows you to cast. It's from a big tournament in like Haruya. And when I saw the deck list, I was like, what does this do? It's like 35 lands, and it's all 6-drop, like Cascade cards. And you cascade into this 5-drop, which then allows you to cascade again. And then eventually you'll hit this cascade where it's like, reveal the top card of your library. You may cast that card. So you go from a 6-mana card to the 5-mana, reveal the top card. And when you hit a Cascades card, well, you cascade back into it. And then eventually you'll run out of Cascade cards because the last thing you'll cascade into or you'll flip into is an Emrakul. So eventually you get to cast your Emrakul, but it's a ridiculous deck.
I want this deck list sent to me, please. So
I'm interested in this.
I'll show you in the after show. It's I saw it and I was like, I was like, what is going on here? And then it took me a while to connect. I was like, oh, that's how this works. So you just hit Emrakul. I was like, all right, that makes sense.
For listeners at home, check the show notes for this deck list.
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
Right.
I'll show you.
Don't
I
listen
saw it and I was like,
We're dumb.
yeah. And then the last thing, there was the pair of lost, or a pair of dice lost. This is one of those weird things where it was again a paper tournament that had it was a 2-star paper tournament that, so if you look at MTG Top 8, where a pair, like the way this card is worded, you can bring back any number of cards with mana value X or less from your graveyard to your hand. Well, you can pick up as many lands as you want. So lands players were talking about playing this.
Or you can pick up as many Lion's Eye Diamonds or Lotus Petals as
Correct.
you want.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So there's
no matter what you roll, you're always going to be able to get back some
so
stuff.
if you roll a double, Snake Eyes, you still get 2, but if your entire deck costs 0, well, you get to pick up 20 eggs and then put them into play.
That's pretty good.
So that's one of those cards that are like, oh, and that one doesn't bother me because from like a sticker, it doesn't involve stickers or anything. It's just like, oh, okay, well, these things can't exist on Magic Online because they won't port Infinity over. Yeah, but I mean, still, like 5 mana is not like, difficult in Legacy anymore. You have so many ways to turbo out mana with whatever. And this is how if you do like 3 Lotus Petals and you're comboing off, and you're like, all right, well, I'll cast Pero or Dice Lost and then pick up 20 more, Mistress Baubles, Lotus Petals, or go for like a Lance perspective where you're like, I'm gonna pick up 11 lands now. And then maybe go from like a different perspective. But it was an interesting card. But these things are actually like being relevant in the format, but we have no access to see them on Magic Online. And I think with Infinity, like, I don't know if Magic Online has the capability to create a sticker board. Right.
Hear me out. Everyone complains about these new supplemental product cards ruining Legacy and changing things. Like I said in the very beginning, I think supplemental products are good for Legacy, and we can kind of look at all the cards that brought into it, whether that be Flusterstorm or Containment Priest originally, or Council's Judgment. I think that there's a lot of really great advancements that happens in Legacy in particular. I think that in the recent fire design thing, that's the thing that Magic players always like to complain about, right? That like recent wave of printing where there are very powerful proactive cards come out. I think that Uro, Oko, Dreadhorde Arcanist, all these sorts of cards that are being printed in non-supplemental products are these really, really proactive cards that require answers. And when you look at supplemental products, they've kind of given us some of the best answers we've ever had in terms of the format, like Prismatic Endings, Force Negation, Force of Vigor. The way that we can kind of keep up with these sorts of cards, Containment Priest, Council's Judgment, although those are fallen out of the metagame since then, right? Mm-hmm. Like, supplemental sets are where we ultimately get our answers, and there's some variation to that, right? True Name Nemesis, when it came in, was like considered game warping. They like, if you look at that old SCG content, though,
still is really good. You slam a True Name Nemesis and it will ruin someone's day
because nobody's ready for it. But the format was all about it. We played like Golgari Charm, and we played whatever random X minus X cards or effects we needed.
Innocent Blood, like, whatever you needed to do.
Yeah. But I think that there was actually this really recent Heritage Legacy phase that happened, right? Where Mason Clark and Anurag Das, they hosted like a 16-person invitational Magic Online event to play Heritage Legacy, which is not a real format, but it's a made-up format because Legacy players love to make up Legacy formats that are without whatever thing they were complaining about.
Pre-Innistrad, let's go, please.
I love pre-Innistrad.
So it's not pre-Innistrad. It's Heritage.
I know, but what I'm saying is I want to play more pre-Innistrad.
Okay. So there's Heritage, which is a format that is it's Legacy to this day with no supplementary product, meaning no Commander products, no Modern Horizons 2 products, anything that didn't come through a standard booster or a draft booster, and that doesn't include like the archive stuff. It's got to be playable in standard.
Yeah, and of note also before standard, just in alpha and beta cards, of course, there wasn't a standard, but the standard equivalent, what was that, type 2 equivalent or whatever. Type 2. And there's some certain variations. It isn't just the cards that we all think of, like that Flusterstorm isn't there because of not being the Commander product, but also like there's no Personal Tutor and Imperial Recruiter because those were in like Portal sets, which were not that type 2 printing at the time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And there's, of course, this is just like a 16-person invitational with like whatever random like figureheads in the community, plus Jerry Thompson. Love it when he plays. But what the overall consensus was like, y'all, like Mono Red Stompy is cracked. It's just insane. Like the best deck, because turn running Blood Moon, there is like no answer. And there's a big question. It's just like let's look at just Force Negation by itself. Force Negation made it so all of a sudden you couldn't just play the 4 Horsemen and play a deck that always gambled that your opponent. I know my opponent has 4 Force of Wills. I know there's a 40% chance that they have it in their opening hand, so I'm always going to jam and I'm always going to go for it.
Right.
Force Negation changed that dynamic, and all of a sudden these Force Negation decks, like they were above 50% to have a force effect on turn 1, and so you couldn't. So like. What's a worse gameplay experience? Me having to play in a way that respects the fact that my opponent is likely to have a force of will, or me absolutely folding to a turn 1 blood moon, right? Where at least if I'm playing Naiadeps, right, and you turn 1 blood moon me, I have prismatic ending in my deck, so I have the hope. I have the hope that I hit like a Mox Diamond and a basic to be able to get out from underneath it, but the ultimate issue with that heritage format is just that the answers suck. And there are so many good, amazing, proactive things to do. So like Magic community, we like to complain about all these like supplemental products and how they are changing Legacy or whatever format you play that you don't like. But honestly, it's a good thing. It's giving us some churn. And frankly, Hull Breacher existing isn't the end of the world for Legacy players. True Name Nemesis existing isn't the end of the world.
Right.
Endurance existing is a good thing. Yeah, Fury existing is probably a good thing for us.
Dude, I was so excited when your opponent showed me that he had Opposition Agent in his board, and I had never thought about that against Doomsday.
You're like, oh, I'll make that pile for you. Here you go.
Yeah, your garbage.
Yeah, you really better. So, fun fact:
do you get the pile?
Yeah, they get the pile. It's correct for them to. No. I don't get the pile. They have to select 5 cards. They can't fail to find because is known for sure there's 5. The opponent gets all 5 of the cards in exile. I have no library whatsoever, and so I then just need to cast Thoughts Oracle. Yeah.
So I'm correct.
That's the way it goes.
Okay.
I thought about it right. I meant like you as in me.
Person playing it.
Yeah.
You with the Opposition Agent get 5 cards, and if you have a blue card in your hand, you always put a Force of Will in it so that you can pitch cost if I have Oracle.
Right.
Yeah. That's funny. Dude. Yeah. But that's kind of with the heritage format. There's also been a big push for modern because people are just, I guess people are tired of modern, and so there's like this, they're calling the current modern block constructed because it's basically just MH1 and MH2 cards. Yep. So, and then people are like, let's play without the block constructed cards. So that's what people have been referring to. And probably next week's show, honestly, guys, I'd like to talk about modern, but that's something in the future just to go over the cards that broke it. I know Prismatic Ending's a huge fan, but it's kind of gotten rid of the nonsense in modern. But anyways, from a legacy standpoint, I don't think people want to experience a world where we don't have answers like Prismatic Ending, but also people at the same time, don't want to have to suffer through a Ragavan until it gets banned. Now it eventually does get banned, but we've dealt with, Underworld Breach, and that came out, which came through a standard set to be fair, but that completely broke Legacy in that context. Same with Ragavan did too. So I'm all for it. I don't know. I'm back and forth on Legacy.
I think Magic players like to complain a lot more than they like to adapt. Is kind of just the truth. And like we spoke of how Legacy, one of the aspects of it is we have these deck specialists. You have like the person with all Japanese red Alurin, who that is going to be the deck they play, and they're going to go to a 5K and they're going to play that. But then when their deck isn't good anymore because of something, it's the end of the world. It's this card needs to get banned. Man, you should have heard me go off about Dreadhorde Arcanist when I was only playing Infect at the time. Like, man, but that's just it. I had like fully signed Infect. That was the only Legacy deck I wanted to play. And man, I complained about that card. But the truth is we just adapt to the situation in the puzzle that's in front of us.
Yeah.
And the only sad thing is it's a lot easier to say that about Standard, where like that's the default is already that you're supposed to be switching between decks. But when we're talking about this format where like my deck is 5K, it becomes so hard. And especially when you go in and you bling it by like making it all Japanese or all signed or all foil to go, wow, Infect sucks. By the way, I'll play Pre-Innistrad anytime because Infect is Delver in that format and it's great. Let me know. I need to use my signed Infect card somewhere.
I was about to say 43 lands. I'm all about it, man.
I'm going to crush you. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be great.
All right.
I have to bounce.
Bye, Josh. See you later. We're gonna be closing up this cast. All right.
Good night.
I don't know if there's much more to say about that, but Ollie, thanks for coming on the show. And if there's anybody who'd like to jump in from a live caller standpoint, and yep, that number is 0. All right, maybe next week.
I got one thing to say.
Okay.
Legacy's the best. Nothing beats it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd like to remind everyone, I beat Ollie in the finals at F&M in Legacy with Delver.
For his RCQ qualifier.
Right. I'll be going to Atlanta.
I'm so sorry. Am I the only one who's only hearing static on Josh's end?
So.
It's a good thing that he's leaving the call right now, right? I couldn't hear any of that. I couldn't make any of it out.
It's Wednesday, my dudes. Good
Bye-bye,
night.
Josh. All right, guys. That's a cast. Boom. He didn't even give us a hot
who's
take.
got the hot take?
All right, Ollie, give me a hot take before we get out of here.
The Bears are better than the Packers this year.
You know what?
All right,
I knew
fine.
I shouldn't have let you talk. I should have never came on this show.
Bro, it was a brutal week.
Never came on this show.
You should have never came on here. All right, here's that deck list.
I've been putting together my EDH while we're talking.
I will DM both of you guys. All right, this is officially the after show.
Is Seeds of Innocence good enough for EDH?
No,
I don't think so.
Damn it.
All right, I am DMing you both this deck list.
What else can I play in EDH?
And JB.
Fetch lands,
Here's that
yeah.
deck list. So it's got it's got all the lands that sack to add 2 mana because you need to get to 6 mana. And it plays this card, Let the Galaxy Burn.
Let me see this.
Yeah, it's got creative technique. So creative technique is red and 4 for a 5-mana sorcery that has demonstrate. If you cast a spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent who also copies it. So, and then shuffle your library, then reveal cards from the top of your library until you hit a non-land card, exile that card, and put the rest on the bottom of your library. You may pay that without paying its casting cost. So what ends up happening is there's this many cards that have Cascade that are 6 and higher, so you'll eventually hit the creative technique, and eventually you'll luck sack into a Emrakul.
Pretty good.
So wait, how does the creative techniques that you're casting not all go to the graveyard? You don't run out of creative techniques?
So the creative techniques, you cast them and then you demonstrate. So you get 2 copies, and then the 2 copies, the first one then lets you go to Galaxy Burn or whatever. You either hit the Emrakul or you hit one of the Cascade cards. Then that goes into another creative technique. So there is a world where you could cast a total of 8 creative techniques and miss on the Emrakul.
Okay, so that's it. You have exactly 8 swings with creative technique to hit Emrakul.
Yes.
Yo, this is stupid. Oh my god.
A mess.
Hold on. I'm taking this.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
It's a pretty.
I was
pretty
you
cheap
like
deck.
weird, wonky, like terrible combos. This is it.
You do need
Yo,
to go.
I play good combos.
Yeah, you
I
need to
know.
go. I mean, you got to go get.
That's
4.
why I can't play lands in our local metas because literally everyone's on combo.
Yeah. So I mean,
I just get
you can either
destroyed.
hardcast the creative technique, or I mean, it gives you
Or
the
any of
numbers.
the 6 drops.
Yes, and then or you need Aurora Phoenix boarding party.
All right, to be fair, even if you whiff, right? So you have 8 creative techniques.
Yeah.
You're hitting. What's the worst for you to hit?
So
The worst is 4 Let the Galaxy Burns.
Yeah, 4 Let the Galaxy Burns, and then you get 4 of these creatures, right? You get a 5.
So yeah, your worst case scenario is that you've dealt. The worst is you have 3 Aurora's Phoenixes and 1 boarding party.
Yeah.
Your worst case scenario is that you have 21 power and 6 of it being haste. That seems pretty okay. All right, that seems pretty great.
I mean, the deck. Whenever you cast a spell with Cascade Return, so you get the okay, whatever. I mean, it's so nonsense. Like this deck is so nonsense. I love it. Like, also if you hit a Maelstrom Wander, everything gets haste too. But I mean, whatever. And also Maelstrom Wander, if you hit on that one, you get double Cascade, so you get double the chances to hit other. It's dude. I mean,
well, yeah, because you're very likely to hit a boarding party or Aurora Phoenix, and then you're representing lethal. So you don't just need to hit Emrakul. You can also hit Maelstrom Wanderer and just get to like the proper
town.
There's no way to miss. I am copying. But you have to board in Chance of the Annexes and Furies. I hate this.
Well, that's
I hate this.
Yeah.
I want to have no sideboard. I want to have it be. Yeah, I guess
Chancellor's
okay.
pretty important.
Chancellor's okay because the only thing that hits it is the creative technique, right?
I was about to say, can't you cast it? Don't you get it?
What creative?
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah,
it's pretty good. It's a
all right
5/6 flyer.
All right, we need Chancellor of the Annex main board in this deck.
I like how this deck plays Leyline of Sanctity. You think there would be a better option, right?
No, you just don't even have that. You're gonna cascade into it. It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah, you need to make sure that you're only hitting either creative tech. I mean, the best part is like all these cards, aside from the 3 Amok rules, which aren't that expensive anymore, but the Maelstrom Wonders, like you need 4 City of Traders, and then you have the deck.
Yeah, there aren't. There's no Volks in here. You're playing Sulfur Vent. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of Sulfur Falls. Never mind. Sulfur Vent is sick. That is a land.
Yeah, it's a land that creates its actually add to. Like,
all right.
What's Tinder Farm?
JB, I have a question.
It just creates It's like all the lands that add.
How many City of Traders do you own?
I've sold them all.
Shit. All right, I need 3 City of Traders.
Yeah, okay. You got to go to my God, why am I bricking on his name? The guy who used to play
I mean, you could get
High Tide.
You could cheat a little bit with this. You could go.
He only has 2. Nate only has 2.
You can go.
Yeah, I sold him 2.
You could cheat on this by going up 1 Crystal Main because you go up to 4. And then just reduce. You get away with 3 City of Traders.
That's true. All right, so I have the perfect number of City of Traders. Yeah. All right, this deck's broken. Again, talking about how the Magic Online metagame doesn't adapt to like great cards are done. Nobody's ready for creative technique. This is.
I mean, stupid. From what I understand with Cascade, when you play it, it goes on the stack like that. It just happens, right? You can't stifle Cascade, correct?
Yes, you can.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, because it's an ability.
Okay, so Stifle would get you really hard.
Yeah, there's a Cascade trigger.
Sure, but how many people play Stifle other than Josh?
Oh, just Josh.
1.
No, there's another one. There's another one.
That's it. That's fucking it.
It's not Josh only.
It's only. Oh my God.
It is Josh. That's the best part. That's what makes me the happiest. That I know it's Josh.
I'm still so upset about that match.
Oh, who's the guy who plays Grixis? Who's the guy who plays Grixis?
Oh, Joey?
Yeah, Joey plays Stifle. He plays 4 mainboard Stifle.
Joey plays Delver now. And that's... Oh, no. He plays 4 mainboard Stifle when he's playing Phyrexian Dreadnought.
Yeah. Shark still. Okay. These decks are the worst because you always go to town with these. They're like impossible to win fast with.
No. Do you understand how fast Eternal Dragon tokens clock? That's like 5 turns.
Yeah.
Man, it kills them. It gets them dead. And nobody ever cracks standstill. The only
issue I have with Eternal Dragon is it gets hit by the token, if I'm not mistaken, gets hit by... Is it a copy of this card?
No, it's a token. It gets hit by PEN1.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Naya
yeah, and so your shark tokens. It's all right. That's the only thing. It's the only thing their PEs hit, though.
Yeah, PE is... God, dude, that card is so good. Naya Zenith. Yep. What is this deck? Oh, it's just a Minskin Boo deck. Okay. These numbers mess with my head. 2 Noble Hierarch, 2 Birds of Paradise. What the hell? Just pick a lane, dude.
No, because I want Exalted, but I want to have white, so I'm not just playing Ignoble. And the Birds has gotten so less good since Ignoble, since the Ignoble printing.
Yeah, but
you need to be playing a Naya deck to have it, so you're still playing Birds. So it's like the only 3-color combination that makes it so Birds is relevant.
Don't worry, we'll get a Naya they might never print a Naya Birds, because if they do, then Birds of Paradise will fade into the Nothing. EDH realm only.
Pre-modern baby.
Yes. Chord toolbox. I like watching I like going on here and just look at some of these foreign
weird
Switzerlands. Yeah, you get Monog 12 just to see if there's anything hot that's in here. Also, Giganta is eventually going to become the modern companion of choice. We're not there.
That's what everyone was already saying, and but it fell off already.
Well, it's people forget that the majority of the time you just want to have the extra card to pitch to Fury or Force of Vigor. That's where you want it, and that's pretty much it. You don't actually want to cast a 5/5. You just want to be able to put a card in your hand so you can 3 mana cast your evoke your Fury, or not feel that bad when you 2-for-1 yourself with Force of Vigor.
Y'all, do you remember when the control decks, the Kahira control decks, were only playing Kahira for Force of Vigor in the sideboard?
Yeah.
It just Your Force of Vigor always costs 3.
Yep.
It's just you pay 3 before you do it. You just always show your opponent that you have Force of Vigor beforehand. Oh,
yeah.
beautiful.
Just
Just gorgeous.
Yeah, I remember I was playing Kahira, and then I had Emrakul's on my sideboard, and when I would board them in, I'd have to not reveal my Kahira, and my opponent would feel like they got me on one, but it's like, no, I brought the Emrakul in because you're playing Mill.
Yeah, go ahead. Feel like you got me on this. I dare you.
Yeah, nice.
Listen, let me tell you how much fun it is to play with Yorion with a Yorion in your deck. Because when that Yorion in your deck comes out, and then you mess with your Yorion in your command zone, people accuse you of cheating so fucking fast. It's not even funny. Yeah, and it's the best part is I have one of them signed and one of them not signed, and people will still dig their fucking heels in and be so sure that I fucking cheated them.
Yeah.
Like
I used to miss playing. I want Stoneblade to be good in Legacy, even though it's like not possible. Because I used to love being able to. I used to love being able to brainstorm, put the Batterskull back, and then play a second Stoneforge, and then grab that thoroughly go through my deck, put the Batterskull, and my opponent like write down in their notes like, oh, 2 Batterskulls. Like, no, I brainstormed.
That's like such a level up part of Stoneblade where like. You literally use it as card advantage.
Yeah.
Did I ever show you the Cobblade deck, which was Squadron Hawk, Ledger Shredder, Stoneforge Mystic, Cobblade?
For Legacy, you were
for Legacy. It's the coolest thing in the world to spend your Squadron Hawks only as Ledger Shredder fuel. It turns your Ledger Shredder into a fucking it turns your Squadron Hawk into an ancestral recall. Like it's a 2-mana 1/1 that drew you 3 real fucking cards. Yeah. It's insane.
I love Squadron Hawk nonsense, and right now I was playing that cat combo, but with everybody main decking Rebs, I'm just so tired of getting blown out. I'm like, I'm fucking done with this. Like, I don't want to play Kitty Cat. I love the combo, but it's like everybody's main decking 2 Rebs. I'm like, God, I just get.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about like Saheeli Felidar?
No. I'm talking the displacer cat with Teferi and like bouncing on Moxamber.
I mean, at least the thing with that is you have Teferi, right?
Like, either way, it's like the deck is a Teferi deck. Without Teferi, it's pretty bad because then your cat can get just removal spelled. But it's like everybody's playing Reb, so I just can't get away with shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard place to be right now where everyone has the access to.
Well, that's why I'm going back to playing Aluren because, I don't care if you have Reb because Aluren's a enchantment that's green. Good luck.
Yeah. It's like, okay, go ahead and Reb my
Baleful Strix.
Go ahead and Reb your Baleful Strix or your what is it? What's the name of the Harpy?
Oh, Cavern Harpy, sure. Yeah.
Go ahead, do it. I dare you. I'll now tutor for my Eternal Witness.
I'm off the Harpy list too. I'm on the Recruiter of the Guard, just because all those cards can't get Red Elemental Blast. So when people are
I am so deep on the Recruiter of the Guard chain. I am I am deep in Charble territory. Yep. Like that is I literally have never tried playing Acererak Aluren once, but I will die on a hill arguing with people who want to play it. I will go ahead and play my my terrible mana base of one of duels with Veteran Explorer. Thank you very much.
This deck's playing Terrace under. Interesting.
It's a better naturalize. It's just like the best naturalize now.
And you can actually main deck it without being embarrassed. Also, everybody's playing Urza Saga, so you can just get that too. It's 2 minute.
Yeah, exactly. Saga. It's just like because people were playing like Wilt was like the best version, right? After
the cycling one, and then now
now it's a removal spell because it also exiles, which is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, and then being able to kick it to I mean this I'm probably gonna try this list. I'm looking at. But I want to get the Recruiter of the Guard just because, dude. What I don't know. Maybe it's. Have you seen like that fetch land debate right now that's been going on, like ban fetches from Modern?
Yeah. I don't think people.
That's so stupid.
Make a new format. Just make a new fucking format. How about we ban fucking Ren and 6? How about we talk about that? How about we talk about
why do they just keep ignoring it?
So you fetch every single fucking turn. The Yorion ban, we didn't talk about this on the podcast.
It wasn't Yorion.
The Yorion ban was because of fetch lands. That's specifically what the problem was.
It was a dexterity thing. Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah,
about these things.
That made me so salty.
Well, it's just
like stop.
Well, it's gonna happen with like so. Well, we'll try to talk about this next with JB, but
yeah.
It's Ren and 6, Urza Saga. Like, there's 10 cards I think that are in Modern right now that have taken.
Gonna be broken sooner or later.
Well, they've taken the spirit or the fun out of Modern, and PE is number 1. I think Prismatic Ending's the most horrendous card to put into Modern. It's great for Legacy because Legacy is super high powered. Miserable for Modern.
Wait, you really think it's Prismatic Ending and not like
It's the worst
I think
card.
that card's fine.
But not like Fury that makes
Fury's
an
way
entire
worse.
archetype not work?
Nope, because if you can. Okay, I'll lay it out. There used to be a lot of like flavors of Modern, where like you had like Lantern and Powermaster's Ascension, Ensnaring Bridge, like all these style of decks. They're all embarrassed by Prismatic Ending. It's completely embarrassing to play those cards. Like you can't even play Blood Moon strategies because Prismatic Ending takes care of the Blood Moon. Now we have Leyline Binding, which is kind of the same thing. But the idea is Prismatic Ending. Whatever like flavors that you would find are just completely hosed because everybody has a 4x main deck answer that used to be relegated to sideboards.
How's that not the same for Fury though? Shutting off every single tribal.
Yeah, it kills. Yeah, that is true. But like
every little creature based deck. Is
I don't
like
gone.
Ranging from humans.
He's also on that top 10
humans
list.
to devoted druid.
Yeah, so like Solitude's on there because Solitude has destroyed Through the Breach decks. Like because you can't play Emrakul because Solitude embarrasses the hell out of it. You go Through the Breach, you're like, all right, get you. Like, oh fuck, this is stupid. So like
there was a
have
moment at
died.
Legacy FNM. There's a moment at Legacy FNM where like Nate put an Emrakul into play and like went to attack and Juan conceded. I'm like, hold on 1 second. You conceded, the game's over. Nate keep shuffling up. Read Solitude and read Emrakul real quick, Juan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like and Juan's like, I read Emrakul 4 times and I still thought I couldn't kill it with Solitude.
No. It was one of the best feelings back in the day. We were like, all right, I'll play a Jace sponsor Emrakul. Like, what? Like, yep, I'll do that. But I mean, that was like a ridiculous scenario. But yeah, I think Prismatic Ending has killed a lot of the flavors of Modern. Meaning, you need to be playing Cascade, you need to be playing Urza Saga, you need to be playing Elementals, and or you need to be playing Ragavan. Those are your 4 deck choices.